Thank you, moderator. First of all, let me express my sincere gratitude. As I say, it's an honor, a privilege, but at the same time, as I mentioned, I accept this award with a bit of a difficult feeling because we're mourning a great friend, the late Amano, with whom we work closely in Vienna and in our pursuit to achieve a world free from nuclear weapon, and then going through achieving a world free from nuclear testing. It's a privilege to come again to Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan has been a pioneer in this fight to achieve a world free from nuclear weapons. The decision by Yelmasai, President Nazarbayev, to close the nuclear weapon test site in 1991, I mean nearly 30 years now, is a sign that this country wants peace not only for Kazakhstan, but for the entire world. So we are pleased to be part of this endeavor. We're pleased to move together with all leaders of this world who are fighting to achieve a world free of nuclear weapon, are leading the world through a non-proliferation mechanism that we want to achieve everywhere. Many of the speakers today have talked about the urgency of action, so we want to be part of this action, and then we are with you. We humbly take this award, but this award comes with the responsibility to continue our pursuit to achieve a world free of nuclear weapon. Thank you.
It's a great honor for him and for his family member to receive this very prestigious prize on this occasion. In fact, many journalists described my brother's work as excellent, outstanding, or whatever, but one of the key words is impartial. And he was very, very strict in maintaining that impartiality. And one of the things he was so determined is not to receive any prize or any award or anything from member countries, because that may be taken as a sort of symbol of partialism. But when he was told that he was selected as the winner of this prize this year, he thought and decided, okay, let's make it an exception. Because personally, he respected the first President Nazarbayev very much. And again, he never mentioned that in the public to avoid partiality. But to me, as a family member, he always said, oh, President Nazarbayev is an outstanding person, and he really felt the first president as comrade, which I use in my remarks. And that's very, very rare for him to describe someone as comrade. Not because he is supposed to be the neutral sort of position, but it's a very rare case. So he was really personally looking forward to coming here to receive this prize by himself, but I'm afraid it wasn't possible. Sometimes that's something that we have to accept as a life. So my feeling is, to be honest, very mixed. Very honored, pleased, but also very sad. That's how I feel now today. Thank you.
We in the committee have been working hard because we had on the table many candidates. But unanimously, we decided to choose Mr. Amano and Mr. Zerbo for three main reasons. The first reason is that we have given this prize to those that achieved concrete results. Not announcement, but a life dedicated to this extremely important historical goal, a world free from nuclear weapons. The second reason is exactly what the brother of Mr. Amano just said, impartiality. Both Mr. Amano and Mr. Zerbo had proven in their life to be impartial, to be driven only by the ultimate goal, liberate the world from nuclear weapons, not any other goal. This is impartiality and, I would say, a clear and visionary guidance. The third is, of course, that both have been considering as important as Kazakhstan did, I would say, ambitious and historical moves. They were two champions. They are two champions. Unfortunately, Mr. Amano is not with us, but Mr. Zerbo will continue to be a champion, but both has proven to the rest of the world to be champions. And I think, rightly, we named this prize to First President Nazarbayev, who was the first to adopt an historical and visionary decision. It is not an anecdote. Once President Nazarbayev told us in another meeting, when I took decision, President Gorbachev phoned me expressing personally his criticism. Are you crazy? What you are doing? I will do. And it did. So these are historical decisions. Finally, the reason why this prize is so important, I synthesize with a phrase. Any dollar spent for nuclear weapons is a dollar that increasing insecurity in the world as is a dollar stolen to the next generations. This is the point. On one hand, we increase global insecurity. On the other hand, this money is stolen for the other laudable purposes for the younger generation. Education, prosperity, growth, jobs. These are the reasons why action time is now.
Thank you very much. In your opinion, where should the international community direct its efforts to prevent further escalation? And what should be the role of Kazakhstan in promoting the goal and idea of denuclearization? Please.
Thank you. In this current geopolitical context where we face uncertainty, but uncertainty that are based on the deficit of trust within the international community. I mean, no one knows what his neighbor wants to do or is doing. I think what we have to do is to try and bridge gap. And we think that the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, a long due treaty, could be one solution to bring parties together. If you look at nuclear arms control, nuclear non-proliferation and disarmament framework, there is still much to be done. We've achieved a lot, but when we look at the NPT process, there have been many discussions and many divisions between non-nuclear weapon states and nuclear weapon states. What is at stake today that people can tangibly put their hands on and then say, we've achieved something that could help us move forward? I think the infrastructure and the collective achievements through the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, the international monitoring system, the build-up of the verification regime, it's something that the international community is proud of today. So let's make this a common goal, as I say, a common denominator that could bring both the non-nuclear weapon state and the nuclear weapon state to see ways to move forward as we want to achieve and implement the non-proliferation treaty. I wanted to add as well that since I'm sharing this award with the late Amano, his motto, Atom for Peace and Development, the use of nuclear energy for development, for peace, it's something that goes hand in hand with the goals of the CTBTO to achieve a world free of nuclear testing and a world free of nuclear weapons. If we have a world of peace, we can go for development and we can do a lot. He fought for cancer therapy. This is something that he wanted to be broadened and widened and spread across the developing world, and this is something that we should focus on as we move towards achieving a world of peace harmony and development. Thank you.
Something a little bit personal. I had the same sort of career as Japanese diplomat, and my last post was the ambassador in Geneva, responsible for the Conference of Disarmament, where we took up, of course, the issue of the nuclear disarmament so intensively. But unfortunately, after I left there, 6 years passed, and the situation hasn't changed much. What we were telling at that time, 6 years ago, was that, well, the nuclear disarmament is stagnant, and it's still stagnant. And that's the sort of reality we have to say, recognize. On the other hand, I know that Kazakhstan has achieved something unbelievably sort of favorable for this, to tackle this problem. But the question is, how many people in the world do actually know that historical sort of decision by the first president, Nazarbayev? So, in short, I would say that perhaps this lesson, what happened in Kazakhstan, should be made known to the world more and more. You may think that we have sufficient efforts to do that, but there's no end. There's no end. There are so many people who still don't know what happened here. And if they know this, then they will be impressed. They will perhaps change their mind, that they have to do something too. The case of South Africa is perhaps, unfortunately, better known. I don't know why, maybe it happened a little more recently or what. But if I may say, public relations, PR, that's very important, I think, to further make an effort towards that goal. Thank you.
As many as possible new states in international community to join a policy of a world free from nuclear weapons. Because to get success, we have to explain to the leaders in the countries, including the first global powers in the world, that it corresponds to national interest to reduce and to eliminate nuclear arsenals and nuclear weapons. Because if you, I would say, destroy, if you reduce, if you suspend, you dedicate more money for the younger generation, you guarantee more security, and of course, you mobilize the hearts and the minds of people. We cannot win without mobilizing, without reaching out to the minds and the hearts of the younger generations. And I think one of the merits of First President Nazarbayev has been to grow a new generation of Kazakhs young people that are well educated, well aware of all the challenges of the world of today, the importance of interreligious and intercultural dialogue, for example, how important is to eradicate any kind of extremism, and of course how to guarantee lasting security through eliminating nuclear weapons. All those merits go to the first president, and I think also very important the idea to create a global alliance of, I would say, those that share this common point of view, putting aside this, I would say, deviated national pride. The more I have nuclear arsenal, the more I'm strong. Absolutely wrong. The more you are vulnerable. Because in the world of new technologies, in a world of cyber attacks, no arsenal, no missile system cannot be penetrated and fall out of control. What about the risk of the penetration of a missile system going out of control? So the national pride, the sense of strong will be reverted in a sense of weakness and vulnerability. This is another reason for what the First President Nazarbayev proposal to have a union, an alliance at the global level is extremely important now.
Thank you very much. So now we are closing our press briefing. Thank you, colleagues, for your participation.